They are finally back today on Global, and this is definitely a banner you don't want to miss to improve your account on Guardian Tales. Who is worth your gems on the upcoming Slayer's next collaboration banner? There is a total of 6 amazing heroes to summon, including of course Lena and Xenos, whom we just covered in details in our last video, and also Noxia, Witch Ara, Vampire Priscilla and Erina. As usual, we will get started with a new overall utility card ranking for each hero, and I will give you my recommendation and priority pool for beginners mid-game players at the end of the video. Lena, a very strong DPS ranged fire hero with a 50% range damage party buff. Lena had already a strong impact at her original release, especially to counter Camel comps in the Colosseum and Arena. Because she has some weapon skill regen speed and skill damage bonuses in her kit, Lena is also taking huge advantage of the ongoing meta with those double weapon skill regen speed team base to help her bring down that long cooldown on the chain skill and increase her skill damage. She has amazing speed animation on her attacks, very long range shots that can get through elements, and her gameplay relies a lot on using her weapon skill the Fireball perpetually to buff her own damage and also reduces her chain skill long cooldown. Both weapon and chain skills deal AoE damage, which is the cherry on the cake for most PvE content, especially stages with tons of mobs to clear. She has overall top utility across all content and keeps being a top tier unit in PvP comps. Xenos. The huge buff to the weapon skill regen speed party buffer benefits greatly the priest Xenos, a dark support unit using a staff, and we are seeing him a lot in PvP. Xenos is very fun to play. He uses teleport, allowing him to swiftly move on the map to avoid deadly opponents' ultimate, or simply quickly move forward his opponents to unleash his chain skill or teleport through thin elements in PvE. His staff attacks have very good range and animation speed and can get through elements, but his chain skill will be hard to land in Arena as opponents can easily get out of it, and it will take time to build up your ultimate. But if you use that double weapon skill regen speed party buffer in the team, and you manage to land Xenos chain skill, you will see some pretty good damage for a support unit. For other content, he will provide also a 10% critical buff to your team for 10 seconds. Overall, Xenos need a skillful player for Arena, as teleporting requires quick timing, cooldown management and positioning to ensure you can corner your opponent and land that chain skill. He has now a lot of utility across all the content and fits perfectly the ongoing meta. That buff has definitely placed Xenos into the top tier heroes in Guardian Tales. And by the way, if you enjoyed the video so far, don't forget to destroy that like button. Noxia, aka Toxia, because she was and still very toxic in PvP. She is an amazing HP party leader and necromancer, able to cast a dark spirit that creates not only a pseudo tank for her safety, but helps her to increase her damage while giving her back some HP at the same time. The combination of the two helps Noxia to apply range damage from her attack and also melee damage from the spirit, which is very helpful in some tough PvE stages. On top of it, the spirit's ability to taunt enemies makes her very strong in both Colosseum and PvE maps with a lot of enemies on the map. Even if Camel can get rid of her quickly if the Noxia player makes the mistake to cast the spirit, because Camel will build up his sustain and damage in hitting the ghost, Noxia remains a solid unit in early Colo Arena on some maps and an excellent hybrid in any team for PvE. Erina, any beginners needs a tank for safer progression after mid-game, and if you already have one like Future Princess, Ogma or Marina, it will be like cheesing the story. Erina is able to build up a shield up to 50% of the damage dealt on her weapon skill, it's called the shield dash attack, and deal both ranged and melee damage as well. She came out with a brand new skill to the game, ailments resistance. Ailments are referring to airborne, injured, downstate damage which can be dealt with weapon and chain skill. That makes her immune from being immobilized by most of the chain skills, hence why player called the Future Princess counter, as she can withstand Future Princess chain skill without being stunned and barely damaged. Her special ability is insane. She gains 30% defense when she takes ailment damage and an additional 30% defense when she hits people. So she's the perfect beginner addition for story PvE, can be great in the arena with Future Princess in my opinion. Double tank is something that is still around and an excellent tank for PvP as well. See Witch Ara. Ara is another amazing water hero, a defense party buff that also benefits from the double weapon skill regen speed meta, as she wears both skill damage and weapon skill regen speed bonuses in her kit. The Sea Witch has very long range attacks that can shoot through the walls, and she's capable of summoning tentacles that have 60% of her DPS and 80% of her toughness. Both are dealing range damage, and the tentacles can shoot through elements and block enemies in PvP also for more upset, while her chain skill has a juicy 420% of DPS. A special ability allows her to restore 10% HP when she summons a tentacle. She also gains 25% defense when the tentacle hits your enemy, and Ara's attack will boost the tentacle damage by 25% as well. Overall, Ara has amazing synergy with her summons, which brings both offensive and resilient capabilities. Like most of the heroes, her exclusive weapon is an absolute must, as it will increase the tentacle summons by 2 and increases her damage output. When it comes to PvP, she is of course weak to earth element for PvP like against Camel, but she remains an excellent counter to the like of Lena and an absolute top tier in PvP. And for PvE, aside of not being optimal for the raids or expeditions because of her defense party buff, she is an absolute stud in any other content. And finally, Vampire Priscilla. Priscilla is a light hero with a 40% shield increase at the battle start for the party buff, coming with one of the best HP and defense stats in the game. A wall kit resolves under a weapon skill called Unleashed, which allows her to transform after hitting 6 to 7 of her normal attacks. It is worth mentioning she has a very long range attacks that can go through element but not through the walls. But her unleashed energy balls can shoot through everything. And once you are in the unleashed state, your movement speed will increase by 10% and you will trigger a special ability giving you 10% of HP recovery, 25% of damage increased, and 25% of reduced damage taken. Also, an exclusive weapon will increase your damage while debuffing your enemies in reducing their attack by 25%. For PvP, Priscilla has been amazing in Arena because she brings so much sustain to her own. And while she's not optimal for guild raids or expedition because of a party buff, she is fantastic in every PvE content. And now, probably the most difficult ever, priority pool recommendation on this banner, because all heroes have some very high perks and are really worth putting, and could really help any beginners and mid-game players during their progression. So, I'm going first to spoil the top 2 units to summon, and it will be of course Lena and Xenos. Not only because of the latest buff in Guardian Tales that bring them further in the top tier category, but because you will earn a lot of pieces for them during the events that will allow you to build them fast. And then for the other heroes, it really depends on your current heroes collection and needs. So apologize for this one, but all of them are really great and can be fit in many teams. But if we are thinking about overall utility for beginners, I will give Noxia and Erina the 3rd and 4th position because of their ability to deal both melee and ranged damage, which give them an edge in the story, PvE content, and more versatility for team compositions. while Ara and Priscilla will be more efficient in range teams and are both strong arena units if this is the content you are looking for. And I'm always happy to answer any question in the comment when I find time for it, but feel free to share your experience and help other subscribers as well. And please let us know which heroes are you going for on this banner. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to destroy that like button, hit that bell and turn on your notification to support the channel and receive more Guardian Tales content. As usual, I wish you all to be safe, to be well, and until the next, stay tuned, Guardians.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs and the lows,